Hi, everybody. Al Bernstein here with another edition of our Big Time Boxing Show. And this is a very special edition because I get to interview a gentleman who is an iconic music figure and is also someone who is in the consciousness of many boxing fans for a bunch of reasons that we will discuss. He's a gentleman who has been a major hip hop artist for a long time, with 4 albums, 30 mixtapes, and a great short film that I want to talk to him about that was released just a couple of months ago, that also I found fascinating. And we'll talk about that and a bunch of boxing related things. Let me welcome to the fray someone I'm delighted to get a chance to interact with. Papoose is with us. Hi, how are you?
How you doing, man? Great to be here with you. Hey, by the way, uh, in 2021, you're correct about the 4 albums, but in 2021, I dropped 1 album each month for a whole year.
Oh, I didn't
So,
know that.
yeah.
Wow. Holy cow. Or that, well,
So
I
that boosts
stand
me to
corrected,
16.
and that is pretty impressive. I didn't know you did that. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
I did.
Okay. That might
Definitely,
be a
definitely.
record. Is that a record?
It was never done before, man. I was the first one to
I've
do it
never
ever.
heard of that in any music genre or any okay, well, I'm very glad you pointed that out. I have never saw that anywhere. I didn't see that
Yeah,
anyplace
yeah, definitely, man.
reported on.
Definitely. Happy to be
Okay,
here
well,
with you, though, man.
that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Listen, you are. Before we talk about, we're going to talk about, your involvement now with the boxing through Claressa Shields. You and her are a power couple in entertainment and sports. And we're going to get to all that in a second or two. But the first thing I wanted to ask you about was, in general, for you, have you been a has boxing always been something that has like been a part of your ethos that you've enjoyed, and what's the genesis of your interest in the sport?
Yeah, man, I took a big interest in the sport since I was a kid. I grew up in the Brownsville, Brooklyn area,
Yeah.
and I remember seeing Mike Tyson pull up in his limousine as a kid, and he would go up on this little rooftop and play with the pigeons, man.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I remember seeing that. I was
Yeah.
so amazed, and then watching his fights on HBO back then was like I was just glued to the television, man. So I was a big fan of boxing since I was a very, very young kid. So to answer your question, yeah, it kind of started there, man. I was just like it started like with the Mike Tyson and also, I did my research and I became a big fan of guys like Muhammad Ali,
Yeah.
Joe Louis and all of those great guys.
That's great. Well, hip hop and boxing, of course, have an amazing synergy and have for many, many years. Hip hop artists that are a part of boxing, how the music impacts the sport, and it does in a major way. And I read a couple of books there's actually been a couple of interesting books written about how the two have been so important to each other. And so that's a part of it that's intriguing. Now you of course are signed with Win Records, and that company has recently had a groundbreaking deal with Claressa Shields, your significant other in life, who is now signed with them, and they are helping to guide her career both in boxing and as a public figure and a cultural figure. And she's got a fight coming up on February 22nd against Franchon Cruz Dezern. And the first question to you about that is, it's an interesting balancing act to try when people are very famous and they're in different fields, but they're also merging. How do you kind of approach that? The idea that you guys are both there as public figures merging this sports and entertainment kind of situation.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a great thing, and you just take it one day at a time. Um, I've been working with Win Records for years
Yeah,
and years before I even met Clarissa,
sure.
and we've done some great things together, and we do a lot of the big concerts you see out there in hip hop.
Yes.
We're the ones putting on those concerts, so we have a lot of experience with putting asses in seats and yeah, and just doing great events. A lot of charity events. We have a great PR team. We have a great digital marketing team. We have great guys on the street doing promotion. So when I actually met Claressa, I was already a fan of her already,
Yeah,
and I was just thinking like, man, if I can bring these two together, it can be something real big. And coincidentally, she was in the bidding war in her career,
right.
and
That's
she
right.
did interviews with some of the greatest entities out there.
Yeah.
And we're here now, man. But to answer your question, it's exciting, man. It's exciting to be who I am as a hip hop artist. And like you said, hip hop and boxing goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
When the fighters are training, they're listening to hip hop.
Yeah.
So we're here, man. Just one day at a time, though.
Yeah, and the interesting now, even when you were talking about something about that, I found interesting because here you are thinking of the marketing of her and the how Win Records and of course your involvement with them can uh, grow that. And that I know was probably a big part of her signing with Win and getting that collaboration because there are so many ways and so many boxers don't get this for a variety of reasons, don't have this happen to them, where their brand gets exponentially grown. And I know that's part of what this is all about, isn't it?
It is. It plays a big part, man. I've been a fan of Clarissa for a long time. I've seen her. I follow her fights, and everyone who knows me, they knows I'm a boxing fanatic.
Yeah.
And you know, just just seeing where she's been able to take it, considering where she's came from. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, if she just had more marketing and more promotion,
Mhm.
she would really go to another level. So, that's just one of the things that I seen that was missing, and I know we can fill in the gaps.
That's great. Now, February 22nd, she'll be in Detroit defending her crown against Franchon Cruz Dezern, who is a very good fighter. They fought in their very first pro fight, which is amazing because they're both
Amazing.
fantastic amateurs, and it was actually astonishing. They put on an amazing fight, and I did an interview with Mark Taffet, who helped put that together, and he said, I told him, he said, I told Franchon when we were making the fight, there is no loser here because it's the best fighting the best. And sure enough, after that, even though Franchon Cruz Dezern lost, she went on to win titles, and now here they are getting back together. There's a video that's kind of gone viral of you working with Claressa in training, and how was that experience to kind of be a little bit a part of the actual training process with her?
I'll tell you, man. So one day I was holding the pads with her, and she threw that right hand. It almost knocked my arm out the socket, man.
Yeah,
And I'm like, whoa.
yeah.
It's amazing, man. Just to be a fan from a distance and to actually be in the training camp and actually see her working and how hard she goes and how dedicated she is to her training. Man, it's super exciting, man. I'm in fan mode, full fan mode.
Yeah, February 22nd is going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure. And I know that there's going to be a giant crowd there, and it'll be a big event to be sure. Now, I mentioned earlier the short film that you've done, Bars on Wheels,
Yes.
and that is a fascinating project because
Thank you.
it had, yeah, and very well done. And there's a bigger purpose to it, isn't it? It's not just a movie that you want to do about yourself. Tell us a little bit about the underlying reasons for doing that.
Yes, man. So hip hop is something you live, rap is something you do.
Hmm.
Me, I'm a part of the culture. I actually grew up in hip hop, and to hip hop, you have five elements. You have rapping, you have beatboxing, you have breakdancing, DJing, and graffiti. So I've been a fan of it that long, and I come from that where all of those elements were very important, and having substance and concepts and versatility and really being dedicated to your craft as an artist was important. And now I feel like that kind of got lost. So
Mm.
Bars on Wheels is the title of the project is Bars on Wheels: A Journey to Save Hip Hop. So when you watch that short film, it's basically me on a journey to save hip hop. So you see me because I put out a lot of content on my Instagram where you see me driving in the car and
Yeah.
I'm rapping, and some guys go in the comments, they say, yo, man, it's a really good rap. but where is he going? You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I wanted to
right.
give
Yeah.
the
What's the
I
destination?
wanted to right. I wanted to give those guys the answer. You know, I'm on a journey to save hip hop. And if you watch the short film, you'll see me driving and the police pull me over and I tell them, hey, I got an injured man in the back, which is hip hop. And then we transfer hip hop to the paramedic. Then you see me driving the paramedic vehicle. You know what I'm saying? And then at the end, you know, we get the news that hip hop didn't survive, and you see me driving the hearse. So I couldn't save hip hop, but that's the concept of it, man. Like just to let people know that, you know, we need to take care of this art form that we all love so much, which is hip hop.
It's very cleverly devised and executed, and you
Thank
did a
you.
great job. And I also thought I enjoyed what you said at the beginning about the different elements of hip hop, and that's I love when people can dissect something, an art form or anything, and give a different understanding to it. Not even what you said at the beginning. Well, I thought that was that was great because it explains it in a concise way.
Yes. Well, people don't understand. You know, there was a time where, you know, hip hop was created out of fun. We did it out of fun. It was
Hmm.
something we loved to do.
Yeah,
And, you know, it started in the Bronx, New York. But anytime us as rappers or MCs seen each other, we would have what you call ciphers and we all would just
yeah,
exchange verses. It could be in the train station, on the street corner, anywhere, on the stage, at a party. We did it for fun. The graffiti artists, the breakdancing, they put cardboard boxes on the floor. And it was just like steel sharp and steel. Each one teach one, and we were just showing each other our skills. And at some point, it became a business. And once it became a business, money became involved and it became watered down and everyone started copying each other. But back then you just had to be original. And you know, I love the business part because everyone can make money, but I just want to make sure we maintain
yeah.
where it comes from, where it comes from.
That and isn't that the struggle for every art form, huh? Because
Yes,
you have to mix commerce with um, the actual art form, and the trick is to keep both of them viable and
right.
still and not lose the initial, vision.
Very, very difficult.
Yeah, it's not the easiest process. Well, I thought the film was great, and a very interesting concept to be sure. So you're on this journey now where your career continues to flourish and you continue to do all these things, and yet you get to participate with the boxing world and
Yes.
with Claressa's career. Uh, it seems like it would be a kind of a fun mixture because it's something different, right?
Mhm.
It's like a new
Mhm.
thing got injected into your life that is, maybe unexpected and maybe a breath of fresh air and something fun.
For sure, man. I mean, excuse me, just doing something I love, man. You know, I was like I said, I always been a fan of boxing. I go to all of the fights. I was attending the Shakur Stevenson fight, and that's how I met Claressa at Shakur's fight in New Jersey. So just me doing something I love, man, which is going to fights, and we met, and everything was just organic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
It's never had. Was it ever someone that I thought I would meet, which was Claressa Shields, and we ended up becoming the best of friends, and it escalated to this relationship. But it was super organic, man, and I'm super happy about it.
That's cool. So let's talk for a second or two with Papoose, the boxing fan. You mentioned your origins of liking the sport, and uh, that was in the '90s. In the '90s and the '80s was the part of the sport where I came onto the scene with it, and it was an astonishing decade. But into the '90s, and of course, it continued great with Mike Tyson and all those people. And uh, so that's the historical reference. In today's boxing, I know you mentioned you went to the Shakur Stevenson Teofimo Lopez fight and saw the amazing performance by Shakur
Mhm.
Stevenson in winning that fight. Who are some of the fighters now that you look at, both men and women, that you say, "Ooh, boy, they're special, and I want to see them"?
Yeah, man. Man, it's a couple, man. Of course, Shakur, of course, Bud,
Yeah,
Tank, Devin Haney, man. Devin Haney, very unfortunate. You know what happened to his career as far as, you know, the little situation he had with against Ryan.
Yeah, but he
I
came
just,
back. He came back very good against Brian Norman.
he did, but I just be trying to explain to people that don't let that loss confuse you. This guy's
Yeah,
still undefeated. This guy's still unstoppable, and he's
absolutely.
still a major threat. So I'm a big fan of him. Abdullah Mason.
Abdullah Mason's very exciting.
That kid
He's
is a problem. That kid
yeah,
is a problem. Shoo, straight out of Brooklyn, man. Nothing to play with at all. Very,
yeah.
very, very
And
deadly,
you
man.
got to witness that fight with Castro. That was he was fighting a very good fighter in Castro, and that was by far the best competition that Carrington has faced thus far in his career, and stepped up to it.
I'll tell you something, man. When me and Clarissa got to our seat, uh, at the time we came in, like you said, it was a bit of a challenge.
Yeah,
Um, and we sat down, and me and Clarissa was looking, and she's good friends with Shushu, and
yeah.
she was like, "Shoot, you got to take some of that power from him." She's like screaming. If you ever been to a fight with Clarissa, she's louder than anybody in the building.
Yeah.
She starts coaching him from her seat. And me as a boxing fan, I can see him kind of listening.
Mhm.
and Shu was an amazing fighter. He's straight out of
Yeah, it's
Brownsville.
very good.
Man, he started delivering some of them body shots, and it changed the fight. That guy slowed down, and
Yeah.
eventually he got the stoppage. But I was confident that he was going to do that anyway, man. But it just showed the relationship between them, and I was glad that he was able to pull that off, man. Rising star, that kid.
Yeah, he's going. What a night that must have been for him to do that in New York, in front of all the people that he grew up with, and you can't. I mean, that's almost like a dream scenario that if you write it, some people would say, well, it's it's not
He,
realistic, but
hey,
it
look,
happened.
he came to the ring with MOP, man. Once he did that, I knew that his opponent didn't have a chance, man.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. That was true. Well, it's great that you are a part of, the people see you as an additional integral part of boxing because your company's involvement with Claressa and the fact that you are so omnipresent in all of this, and I know for all your fans, it like gives them probably something. For the boxing fans, it gives them something additional to have fun with in the sport. And for your other fans, I wonder, there may even be some fans who haven't paid as much attention to boxing, but through you, they will.
100%, man. Cross promotion at the same time, man. A lot of the hip hop fans who weren't paying attention to the diamond that Clarissa is, now they're paying attention. And the boxing fans who wasn't paying attention to Papoose, they're coming over here. So it's a great exchange, man. And I'm really enjoying it, man. I also I think that considering everything that Clarissa's done with Salida, who's done an amazing job in her
Yeah,
career since day one. And the fact that she found herself in the bidding war because her contract was up, and she talked to all of the biggest boxing promoters out there. They all were interested, and she decided to stay with Salida. I think that says a lot about him, as an individual, man.
that's a very good point. And the interesting thing about what she did was she did that, but then through the association with Boone Records, added another
Right.
element to it, which added to the whole scene, right?
Exactly. I'm super glad that we was all able to come together, man, and bring the two entities together, because she deserves that much of a powerful team behind her, man. So I'm just glad that when Salida was able to come together, and the sky's the limit for us. We got an amazing team at Win Records, like I said earlier. Shout out to my brother Ruben, my brother Sean, the whole team, and Denise, everybody, man. We're really working hard to take Clarissa to the next level. This is the next event, February 22nd. It's about to be sold out again. So
Yeah, that's going to be
dynamite.
very big, and there are a number of fights on the horizon for Clarissa that could be very interesting. I know
Oh
one of the
yeah.
fights now I was thinking about was a great following in England, and Michaela Meyer, who
Kayla Maya, yep.
is a wonderful fighter. And I had Mark Taffet as a guest, and he was talking about the synergy of the three of them is a fascinating kind of dynamic, because Price and Michaela Meyer were probably going to fight each other. It didn't quite happen, but the three of them in general, and really the only thing that has been hampering to Claressa in boxing is that the depth in the higher weight classes of women's boxing hasn't been as good. You know, the depth in the lower weight classes is great, and it's getting better, but it's also starting to get better in as you move up the higher weight classes. So there are more potential fights for her during the remainder of her career that can help create both good matchups and commerce.
Yeah, Clarissa's really great, man. I think the fact that she was able to go up to heavyweight and everyone, whispering, hey, she doesn't knock anybody out. She doesn't knock anyone. First
Yeah,
heavyweight fight, kaboom,
right.
opponent goes down. Second heavyweight fight, 10th round, she gets the knockdown. So
Mhm.
I think it says a lot about her. But like you said, man, a lot of the great fights are a little lower, and she's considering going down to face, Michaela Mayer, Lauren Price. So it's going to be even
Yeah.
more exciting, man. We got some exciting things ahead.
Well, and the good thing about that is she can come to a weight that still is comfortable for her because she was down in that general weight class. And I tweeted something about 3 weeks ago that there are two fighters. There are two fighters in women's boxing um, who, when I look at them, their accomplishments, they're really great, but they're still evolving with all their accomplishments. Claressa is definitely one of them because she keeps getting, she keeps improving her skill set over the course of
Yes.
time, which is, very remarkable because of someone that's been involved for so long. And Michaela Meyer is another one of those people. She has gotten
Mhm.
better. She's 35 years of age and has continued to get better. Uh,
Right.
and and the two of them are fascinating to me in that respect. And we all in our endeavors, you and your with what you do
Right. Right.
artistically, and from I've felt this way about broadcasting and communicating and doing broadcasting. You want to keep evolving. You want to keep getting better. I don't care at what
Yes.
point you are, you still want to improve, don't you?
100%, man. It's all about elevation, and Clarissa is the definition of that. Let me ask you a question though. So, if you had to see out of all the women we just named, if you had the opportunity to see Clarissa fight one of them, who would it be?
Well, both Lauren Price and Michaela Meyer are really
Okay.
good. It's a little easier for Lauren Price to get up higher in weight. She had fought at a higher weight before. Uh,
Okay.
Meyer came from lower weights. So there's a limit to how high Michaela Meyer can go. And she really does want to fight Clarissa. And I think it's a great matchup in terms of skill sets and everything. But for Michaela Meyer, there's just, I think like 160 is about as high as she's going to get, maybe
Okay.
154. Lauren Price could get up to 165
Mhm.
for Claressa, or even a couple pounds higher. So that part maybe makes it a little more feasible to an extent. But I think both of them, the thing about it is that from a skill set standpoint, they're both very good, and
Right.
Meyer and Price, and I think they provide a great matchup for Claressa. And the other fight that I personally would have wanted to see and would still want to see is the rematch with Savannah Marshall because that was such a great fight. It was one of the
It
best
was.
fights of the year and of
Yeah.
that period. Savannah Marshall didn't perform as well in her last fight. Um,
Mhm.
and I think that was due to layoff and things of that.
Right. Right. Yeah. Ring rust plays a part.
Yeah, it was a big part of it, and she was facing a really good opponent, of course. So that's another interesting fight. What's your take on what you'd like to see?
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Definitely Michaela Maya and Lauren Price, man. I definitely want to see those two. I'm super excited to see those.
And the interesting thing about the three of them, and this is one thing that Mark mentioned, it's a great triumvirate rivalry any way you look at whoever's fighting who. And he was saying it could be the next thing that starts to create some additional great fight. I mean, women's boxing has continued to elevate and have great fights, and has had in the last 5 or 6 or 7 years. To me, it's an amazing story. The way the sport has had this surge, but this could be a big factor in doing it. Well, you know your boxing. You've demonstrated that, so that's good. And I know all your fans are very excited about the fact that you're involved in that as well as you. Let me ask you before I let you go, what's next for you in terms of your next projects that you're excited about as an artist?
Right. So, like I told you in 2021, I dropped the album every month, titled after the current month. And we're in January. I was considering doing it again this year, but I think this time I'm going to drop a project, you know, um, after all of the astrology signs. So I'm a Pisces. My birthday is March 5th. I think I'm gonna start with Pisces and then go around and just really be consistent with the music. I want to do a continuation to Bars on Wheels because, there is a part two. So I'm just going to keep working as far as my music is concerned. But more importantly, man, I do want to continue my executive position at Win Records and making sure everything stays on the right track for Claressa.
And that's a time-consuming effort as well, because not only is there Clarissa, but you're intricately involved with all the other artists at Win, of which there are
Hmm.
a number of talented people there.
Yes.
And so that's also a time-consuming effort,
Yes.
and makes it more difficult to take that hat off and then just purely be a creator, I
Yes.
would think.
Yes. 100%, man. So, the sky's the limit and the future is very bright for us at Win Salida, man. So stay tuned, man. And also I'm a fan of you, man. Great to be here doing an interview with you. I've been watching you for a long time, man.
Thank you very much. Well, if
For
as
real.
a boxing fan, you were stuck with me on many big fights, so you couldn't get away from
Nah,
it.
you do a great job, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad we got a chance to visit, and
Mhm.
I will look forward to seeing you. And the February 22nd should be very exciting, and look forward to seeing all the continuation of your career as you
Yeah.
continue to make great art. Oh, before I let you go, this is the
Mhm.
one thing I wanted to ask you. If you had to put the influences in hip hop that have helped inform you of what to do, what would those influences be?
Mhm. When you say informer, you mean like
Yeah,
musically?
that you look at it, whether it's people or movements that
Oh,
have helped mold what you do.
yeah, I'll tell you, man. To be honest with you, growing up as a kid, I drew inspiration from so many different places, man. So seeing what Michael Jordan did on the basketball court
Interesting.
was very inspirational to me. Seeing, like I mentioned, Mike Tyson,
Hmm.
artists like Coogee Rap, who I was actually able to work with in the studio, legendary artist, and he
That
put me
had to
on
be special.
yeah, it was very special, man. And I learned a lot from him. I was around G at a young age, and I learned a lot from him in real life. Um, Biggie Smalls, just a lot of the legendary guys.
Yeah.
Busta Rhymes put me on a record that changed my life as an artist. I'm talking about after I did a record with Busta Rhymes, I couldn't go to the mall anymore by myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a
So
breakthrough.
yeah, yeah, definitely Busta Rhymes would be number one.
That's cool. Well, that's great. Yeah, and everybody. I don't care what you do, right? Everybody has some kind of people that either just through what they've done or sometimes interaction with them
Yes,
that they
yes.
influence us, and it's always for the better, isn't it? When you get great people that because you're not copying anybody, you're taking from them, and
Right.
it's the best way to do it, to not copy, but simply take the inspiration from them.
Nah, Buster's my brother, man. We get on the phone and we talk for hours, and we talk about life and
That's
children and
cool.
family and business, and it's always inspirational and it always gives me guidance. So I always leave those phone calls with something new, man. So Shout out
That's
to my
great.
brother Busta Rhymes, man. I really
Very good.
appreciate it.
Well, can't beat that for sure. Hey,
Huh.
listen, Papoose, thank you so much
Thank you, man.
for doing this with me. It was a lot of fun, and we'll look forward to seeing you. I believe I'll be there on February 22nd. But
I hope so, man.
yeah, so I hope you have a great time, and I know the event's going to be fantastic.
Thanks for
So
having me, man.
thank you very much. So that was our visit with Papoose. What a fun time to chat with him about music and his artistry, as well as, of course, the boxing world, which he's now an integral part of in so many ways. We will see you next time here in the Big Time Boxing Show. Take care, everybody.